T-minus 1 minute. T-minus 50 seconds. T-minus 40 seconds. T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
But when I say that,
I say, yeah, buddy, rolling like a big shot. Got cleaned up and I only serve a big guy. Fresh start time, fresh new mind. Free on the inside, free on the outside. Why you worry when you know that he gon' make a way? I done seen him make a blessing like 100 ways. Everybody got a time, a dog gon' have a day. Only running to the Lord, I never run away. Curving him, demons try to get me, but I'm swerving him. Circle him, target in my flesh, I had to murder him. Satan only come to see your joy just like a burglar. Smirking him, I know he got it covered like a pergola. Yeah, buddy, rolling like a big shot. Got cleaned up and I only serve a big guy.
and just like that, we back. And just like that, we back.
Are back.
Listen,
We are back indeed.
let me say this, bro. I think that I just want to stop and pause for the cause for a second. The way we handle technical difficulties and stuff now versus how we used 2 years ago, niggas would have been sweating in every part of the crevices of. Oh my God, what do I, bruh? It was just like this time. I just noticed.
Let's
like,
just cancel the show. Let's just cancel it.
Drama queens. Listen. Now
Real
it's
talk,
like this brother called me like, "Yeah, you fixed this." I don't know if that. And what our solution was, let's not worry about it, and we just kept flowing.
Yeah,
this is
that's funny that you brought that up, because in the midst of it, I was thinking the same thing. Like, and this is why I can appreciate this platform so much, and not even a platform where I can appreciate you as a co-host, because everything is so easy. It's nothing stressed. It's nothing that feels like, oh my God, if I don't do this, and if I did, it is what it is. Malfunctions happen, technical difficulties happen. Oh well, if you're gonna tune in anyway, great. If you don't, you can catch it on the next one. It's all good.
Listen, I'm not going for debate no more. Listen, we're gonna go live. We not. I mean, we're gonna try. If it don't work out,
yeah.
It just didn't work out.
Yeah, like, listen, it is what it is.
When I say it, bro, we heavy on the maybe. Maybe we'll be heavy. Here. Maybe the episode will go heavy on the maybe.
Maybe all the technical difficulties won't be there when we start the show, but maybe they will. So
listen, we pray against it, but many are man's plans, but God orders his steps. So I'm ready to get into this show tonight, bro.
Is that the same as 50 said? Is that the same translation as 50 said when he said, "Many men wish death upon me"? Is that like the same as what the Bible was saying in that little? I feel like 50 may be a prophet if we think.
Wow!
If we think about it,
wow!
Nope,
we went too far.
All right.
We went too far.
All right.
Let me tell y'all about how Mike. I asked Mike if we're doing a show tonight. Nigga text me back, I'm a little under the weather. 20 minutes later, this brother.
Wait. No, how did I text you and you use that voice? All I said was, I'm a little under the weather.
I asked Siri to read it for me. She said, Mike said, I'm a little under the weather. And so I trust Siri. And so that's what she said. And then his brother texted me 20 minutes later talking about, I'm at the gym. I just put 800 up on the leg press. I said, let me get under the weather. If that's what happens, I thought we were on top of the weather. It's happening underneath the weather. Good God, man.
Listen, I feel like the gym is a cure-all, bro. Anything that ails you, I said, anything that ails you, just go to the gym. It's a cure-all.
Hey, factual.
No, that's what that is. Yeah. So my week thus far, what happened this week? The week has been good, bro. I don't. Oh, I think my highlight. We had a family date night on Friday, and we went to LA Live and saw Twisters, the new movie Twisters, but we saw it in 4DX. So the seats was moving, the water was splashing, the smells, it was bananas. And they got new seats in there. So
I'm going.
I say if you suffer from motion sickness or anything like that, don't go see it in 4DX. But it was fire. It was fire.
Say, go see it anyway. Don't listen to Mike.
It may make it more realistic. Who knows?
He's not a physician. Mm-hmm. You don't know. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was a highlight. Just and that's what I've been trying to focus on a lot more lately, is just being intentional with my time, with my family, and whether it's us just sitting down, having family discussions and family talks. Like the other day, me and Denham sat in the car for like an hour and just talk. Because at that age, when they start to become teenagers, you got to get past the first layer of I'm too cool to talk. That in itself takes about 25 minutes.
Yeah,
trying to just break it like, look, dude, come on. So once we got through that, it was a great conversation. And, just trying to keep that open line and that transparency and that no judgment zone kind of vibe in the house. And that's been working out great for me and Jay, for me and Denham, for all of us collectively. It's been good. So, yeah.
I can respect that, man. I respect the patience and the intention.
No, I was gonna say what's so funny is the other day I was asking him, we were walking, I was asking him, I was like, so can you see the difference between how you talk to me now as opposed to maybe like 9 years old, 8 years old, the way you would talk to me? He was like, oh yeah, I could see it night and day, because you get with aging and with maturing, it's just certain doors that you're able to unlock with that. So before it may have been no dad, yes dad, but now it may be a little bit more lax conversation, as long as it's always respectful. But it's just good to see him grow and good to see our relationship be able to feel like when it's always father and son. When it needs to be strict, it's strict. But and that's rare. But when it's just us chilling, that's what it feels like. It feels like we just chilling, we vibing. It ain't no pressure for you to feel like, oh, I gotta be perfect because dad is around. It's just, man, it's a good feeling, man.
I love it.
Yeah,
I look forward to it.
Yeah, you're gonna be a great dad, man. I can see it. Even though Denham, I don't know what the beef is between you and Denham. I feel like y'all need to just fight, just a 3-round bout. And just have it out and then hug it out and then
not losing to 11-year-old. I should have got him when he was 8.
13. Huh? He is 13.
I should have got him when he was shorter than me. I should have.
Yeah, you should. Yeah,
when I had
one good punch to the throat, he would have learned his lesson.
Now, I got to beat up his dad. But either way,
and that's what I think it is. I think he's kind of upset that you're bigger than me. Like more muscular than me. I feel like
I'm about to say
around, he's like, this
not since you've been put this 800 up on the leg press. Let me tell you what I'm not doing.
We're gonna get in a good session, and it got to be recorded. It has to be recorded. It's gonna be epic. I already know it is. It's all ego lifting. It's gonna be all ego lifting.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if me and Mike ever do a gym session together and record it, he got this skinny tank top thirst trap that he likes to wear sometimes. You're not working out with me with that slingshot on. I'm not working out with you with that on. Nigga, hoodie.
That's funny.
No,
that's funny. I've been doing the oversized shirts lately.
Next to me.
I always make sure that my nipples are covered. I have nipple slips at times, but I'm just saying mostly.
Brother, if you walk in the gym with some pasties on, niggas trying to talk about we doing leg days.
Shit.
Not going down.
That's funny. Man, how was your week thus far, man? Last week.
You know what? I think the best part of my week was I got to meet like 8 new cousins yesterday.
Really?
So yeah, so my grandmother's sister's children and just the extended family that lives in Kansas came down to surprise her. And I just got a chance to see just more family members and talk and have a good time and just see where the relation is in our DNA. It was really cool, man. Just extend that family. So we're all planning to try to see how we can do another family reunion of some sort. And I got so many cousins out in Oklahoma and Kansas that I don't know about. I never met. So that was a highlight of my week,
dope.
man.
That's dope.
Yeah. And
meeting new family is dope.
It is, man. It is. And I mean, a lot of positive things happened this week that I intentionally set forward to do. I finished my 6th certification in my professional UX design course. I got one more certification to go, and I'll be a certified professional.
Jeez.
And then we'll see what happens from there, man. I just been, like we had technical difficulties there on the show. Like in life, I see a lot of different things happen, storms happen, stuff like that.
Come on, man.
I recognize I just been handling them like you told me this week, like with this certain level of optimism. Mm-hmm. I've been handling them with just like, it's all good, man. I can handle what I can handle. I think, I don't know if it's because I'm getting older or because I'm just tired of fighting. I'm no longer just trying to control stuff that ain't within my control. And I'm not trying to negotiate with God to let me have more control than I need. I'm like, no, I'm good. You handle that, bro. If it comes to friendships, relationships, work, finances, like you promised this, so handling, I'm gonna enjoy what it means to be the child of the Creator. You know what I'm saying? I spent time not so busy trying to impress like I didn't enjoy. So
right.
Yeah, man, I've been ready, and that's what I've been doing, man. I just been enjoying the promises that have been made available to me because of what Jesus did. And so that's where I'm at, bro.
That's funny that you said that thing about kind of just like being over having to deal with all that stuff. And I think it's twofold. I think it's because one, we're at the age to where it's like I've been trying to make things happen and figure things out my entire life. Right. And I feel like we're at the point where it's like, I'm not doing that no more. I'm gonna let God work out his plan, and I'm gonna just fall in line with whatever the hell that is.
It's to the point now to where I don't remember. So you text me and you hit me with the question marks afterwards, but I said the necessary mystery because you were saying how sometimes you in situations and you never do figure it out and you're not supposed to, and I'm calling that the necessary mystery. I find myself. I used to be so obsessed with I need to know everything. If you said something about me, I need to know what you was talking about. If my name came up in conversation, like I could care less. It's almost like I play stupid because I don't want to get involved. That's like, huh? Yeah. Who me? No, I don't know. right. Because I don't, and it's not because I don't care about folks. It's because I've gotten to a place where in my, how we have financial literacy, right? Yeah. So I have this idea called currency literacy, where anything that's valuable that you use to exchange for goods, like my energy, I have an energy budget, and I recognize in the morning, I look at my energy budget. What can I afford to spend energy on today? Where can't I? And throughout the day, I'm just looking at situations like, I cannot afford to have that conversation or engage in that. I can't afford to sit with those thoughts because they're too expensive. I can't afford to all these different things. I'm like, nah. I can't afford to, and I don't want to be able to afford to. I'm gonna stay within my budget because when I come home today, I want to have energy for the people I do want to talk to on the phone. I want to have energy in the gym. I don't want to be in the gym going through trying to process, a whole bunch of dramatic situations I never had to get involved in the first place. Like, bruh, listen.
So would it be safe to say that the reason a lot of people come home and they may feel unhappy or drained is because they went into debt emotionally throughout the day?
I couldn't have said it better myself. Went into debt emotionally. I had a client a few years ago who was struggling with this, and I said, imagine you woke up every morning with 5 shells. And the reason they came to me because they were having relationship problems. I said, imagine you wake up in the morning with 5 shells. Your shells are your energy, like your nerves, right? Yeah. I said, just decide in the morning that you're gonna leave 2 shells at home and only take 3 to work with you. And once those 3 shells is done, you pretty much have to just shut down in a healthy way and just stay to yourself. So that when you go home, you can pick up your 2 shells and be like, all right, cool. Like, all right, yeah, I can talk to my partner. I can talk to my kids. Like I got energy, I got capacity, I got these shells. And the idea was that you keep something in reserve for the things and the people that you care about. Don't just spend it all in the world. I got this quote that we put out a few weeks ago, bro. It said, don't spend all your energy on the people that you don't need, because when you have the people in your life that you do need, you won't have anything left.
Not gonna have nothing left. Tank on empty.
Man. Well, we was about to get into the first video tonight, but dude, you know what? Tell me, dude, you know. What's up, bro?
What up, though? What up, though?
Shut up.
We just talking about the best part of our week before we even get into the videos yet, man. Hello there, brother Kid.
How are we going? How are we doing today?
Blessed on top.
Sensational.
Wow. Okay, Future. That's
sensational.
Yeah. So you guys had a good week. Everything's been well.
Yep.
We made it. We made it. So
I'm up for promotion.
Hey, come on, man.
Cause shit is crazy right now.
And if you don't know what he's talking about, the quote is that you're only tested when you're being considered for a promotion. So you've been tested this week, huh, my brother?
This week, Jesus. I'm like, listen, man.
I was 16.
I talk to guys like y'all now. I'll be like, listen, bro, like it's not something we can do about this. We can't talk about a little bit of an alteration, but you know, it's going his way, and I'm just riding the wave.
Listen,
and that's my good news for the week is I'm just riding the wave. I'm just I'm comfortable and trusting. Have no idea what the hell is going on, where I'm going. This is a wilderness spot, but I'm trusting, and it feels good.
Amen.
That's crazy because that lines up with both of us was just saying. We get to this age where I'm tired of trying to do all this shit on my own and trying to make it happen and let me get out there and I gotta make too tired, too old. I'm gonna just let God do his thing. Just whatever it is you got going on.
Jeez. Yeah, I'm good.
I'm here.
Right.
What's today? The 21st or the 20th? What's today?
21st. Do you know what tomorrow is?
What?
It's your anniversary?
Bro, I'm gonna have a 13-year-old tomorrow.
Officially a teenager.
Bro.
You gonna cry?
I am. I cried earlier today.
Okay, cool. Yep.
So you get it. Just trying to put my little video together. I'm like, so here's the thing. We pray together every night before you go to bed, right? So it usually calls me somewhere around like 6:30 my time. And as I'm praying, I'm realizing that 13 years ago, God gave me a 1 pound, 13 ounce baby.
Yeah.
And I'm going, God, do we ever do anything just easy?
Bruh, but I remember being over there. I think it was at Kiana's house when I was holding him and he had all the tubes up in him and everything. Just tiny, Mr. Tiny Man. I think I still got that picture somewhere. Just
it's such a blessing though when you think about how far God has brought you. And when you look at it, you know, a lot of times we can look at things and go, he's brought us this far. But when you look at something that he gave you stewardship over, and you realize that God has brought him that far, it's a different type of gratefulness. It's very different because it's not you anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's not about you. It's about what he gave you, which makes it even more, you know, impeccable actually.
Oh yeah. You almost start wanting more for that child than you want for yourself. And you're more grateful to God for what he's doing through him more than you are what he's doing in you.
Yeah. You know what's funny with that is that I would love to agree with that. I was raised by this woman who gave me the fact, she's like, yo, I'm impressed with you and what God has done for you, but I cannot overlook what God has done for you more than what he's done for me, because then you won't be able to realize what he's done for you and the impactment he's made for you, because you'll be looking down and trying to look down instead of looking at. Don't miss the work trying to get to the job.
Right.
Does that make sense?
No, it does 100%.
I'm like, I don't sound a little funny. My mom was just really big on, you have to live for you and I have to show you how to live for you. So the things that I need to fix and the things that I need to make happen aren't on her end, they're on my end. So it's just the visual of showing, I guess, if that's the method.
Okay.
First video. I miss y'all, by the way. That's why I keep showing up.
Hey, it's been a pleasure to have you these past few weeks, man.
I know, right?
Yeah, I mean, you should give
For a full episode too.
I think that yeah, for real. As promised, though, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to give you this episode. Maybe this will help the podcast. This is season 4, episode 24. That's 4 years ago. I think Carrie started this thing. So it'd be good to know your first episode. I want to see when the anniversary for the show is. That'd be great to know. But until then, this is
forever. God.
Let's leave that where it is.
We'll just make it up. It don't matter. Can't nobody prove it.
How about we do this episode where it was all of us? That could be the anniversary.
You don't want to go back to the raunchy?
Now. Why you want to go back there?
That's the Old Testament. Nobody. All right. Here we go.
Male stranger asks you a question. Male stranger asks you a question. What are you supposed to do?
I look at my man like, is he talking to me? Is he talking to us? Like, in other words, like, you address them like, I know he ain't just bypassing my guy and talking to me. Smart, What is that about?
If a male stranger walks up to you and start talking to you, you don't know this man at all.
Directly to the woman.
You are supposed to look at your man, look at the dude who talking to you and do like this.
For sure.
That's what you're supposed to do.
I'll be like, who's this?
And I'm gonna be like, hey, player, how can we help you?
Yeah.
That's how it's really supposed to go. But a lot of girls don't know that. You ain't supposed to carry on with no man you don't know. Now you might see somebody you know at work and be like, oh, hey, how you doing, Frail? Then you supposed to.
Where y'all at?
That was really good, Johnny. That was really good. I like the way you set that up. That was good. Sheesh. So what I go as far as to say is that's what she's supposed to do. No. Is that something that I would appreciate? 1000%.
Mike, when did you become so political? I love it. Let's see.
I had to really think about it because initially I was like, "Oh hell no, she better give me the head nod first." But I can't expect that unless we've already talked about it.
Used to be a Republican, now you're a Democrat. I get it. Carrie, where you at?
I guess I just switch parties because I really do agree with what Mike is saying, but that's what I always say in regards to having to know your partner, though. You know what kind of person that you're dating. And so it could be a situation where she is more used to the independent role where it just comes naturally to her to figure out what's going on. I mean, not that she's trying to overstep boundaries. It's just her natural response.
Yeah.
And I can't be mad at something that's natural. It's not like she's doing, unless she's doing it and it's over. You can tell when somebody is overstepping their boundaries or doing too much.
1000%. 1000%.
And you also know when that's their personality too. So that should have been a conversation you had with her beforehand.
I think for me, so I think there's a line at which my expectations shift. If we just dating and we are not a couple yet, a couple meaning that we have decided upon a mode of operation when we're in public and in private. We have similar mantras and values that we express to each other. We have code languages and body language. We speak to each other. Like when we're a couple, these are the things that exist. There's a code of conduct that we both have agreed upon on how we're going to do life with strangers and in private. That's something that I love to live by. So I think that, but prior to that, if we're just dating, I think it's a great opportunity for me to just observe and see what her natural flow is. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying to you? I remember I was talking to one of my friends. She was in a relationship with this guy and he got so mad at her because they were in a store and there was a homeless dude outside. She left the store to go outside to give the homeless guy some money without him. And he was like, you can't be doing that. They were downtown LA. He's like, you can't be doing that. It's too dangerous for you to be doing that. And so that became a whole big issue and fight because she's like, first, you ain't gonna tell me what to do. And second, like, I know what I'm doing. I can handle myself in these situations. When he was kind of just expressing like, well, when you're my woman, I take like you're my responsibility, and that doesn't go over well with a lot of women. Like I'm not your responsibility, and so but that was his way of showing like that's most men's way of showing that I care. I protect I protect what I care about, and so again, I wouldn't say that it's means or argument. It's just like when you see that that's someone's mode of operation, you're like, I don't like that. Oh, then we can't be together. You know what I'm saying? Or there has to be some kind of compromise, because too often people are in situations where they like the person, but they don't like how the person operates. And you have to make a decision in those situations.
And sometimes it could be from the way they were raised, where they were raised.
True.
Who raised them?
Facts. Your experience, and I've just learned that in recent, your experience in one place of the world and somebody else's same experience in their place of the world can be two totally different concepts. They could be from far extreme. I mean, like I was having a conversation with somebody and they were telling me about how they used to be, on a motorcycle set, like hanging out on with motorcycle people. And in my mind, that computes as, are you in the streets? But from where they was from, it just mean I was just hanging out with my folks. Like it's not like that is here.
Your culture informs your perspective when people give you like vague scenarios.
Yeah. Yeah.
And where we from, it could go a whole nother way.
1000%. Let's talk about that for a second though. Let's because I know at least I can definitely speak for the three men that's on this podcast now. I know for a fact that when we're leaving each other, if we're hanging out one night and we're leaving each other, it's always let me know when you get home. Call me when you get home. Text me when you get home. Or even if it's I'm gonna come outside and watch you walk to your car, even if it's things like that. So I think for some men it may be more of a control thing, but I think for I don't want to say real men, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. For real men, anything you love, you're gonna want to protect. Not just your woman, it's gonna be your mama, your friends, your homeboy, your brother, male or female. And I feel like a lot of women need to understand that. Like if I'm saying I love you, or even if we dating in a relationship, I have any kind of feelings for you, that's gonna always be my first go-to. Like you going outside to give this homeless man some money, that's great. I may give him some too, but I'm definitely gonna go with you. 1000%.
Mike, I need you to clarify something for me. What's the difference between trying to protect and trying to control?
So in referring to what I was talking about, so it could be a man that's just like, you can't go out there because I said you can't. To me, I would need to know, like, are you just trying to control her movement, control what she's doing? Or on the flip side of that, is it a protection thing? Are you saying you can't go out there? Because to me, if it's protection, then I'm going to explain why I don't want you to do X, Y, Z. I may not be able to explain it in a moment because sometimes things are happening quick. I don't got time to sit here and explain why. I see something you may not see. Let's go. Fair enough. For the most part, if I'm coming from a place of protection, I'm going to explain, hey, so I'm asking you this because X, Y, Z.
If she's never experienced that, that is something. It's almost like loving a person that's never been loved correctly or loved to that capacity.
Yeah.
If it's seen, if their experience with it looks like this, whatever this is over here is going to automatically look like this to them. So it has to be.
I'm gonna fight that a little bit, because when I think about children who grew up in the same home, exposed to the same parenting style, but have they move through life differently. I want to say, not that I disagree. I do believe exposure plays a big part in it, but what's going to determine how they respond to it is when they first saw it, did they appreciate it or not? Because exposure doesn't necessarily designate an emotion or a perspective. It's just exposure. This is what you're seeing. Something inside of you helps one child to have an appreciation, other one to have a disdain, right? And so they may have never seen it, and at the first experience with it, there may be an appreciation, maybe because they saw certain things in movies and they created this imagination, this fantasy in their head. I think it still really depends on that person and their ability to appreciate that based on what they think is supposed to happen in this space.
That's accurate.
Yeah, I feel that. We got a couple comments over to this.
Yeah, go for it.
Let's see. So Tiffany said, I wouldn't think twice and absolutely would expect my guy to talk up. If we are newly dating and he doesn't, it would tell me
a lot.
It would tell me a lot unless this is someone I know, and I don't know what that is.
And he doesn't, then I would look at my guy, date and address him and let him know who this person is before engaging with the guy. I said,
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that it would tell a lot because I may not, because I don't want to look like that guy. Oh, you can't talk to my woman. Like, if that's the space that we're in at that point, then that's just something that will have to be discussed a little later.
That you make a good point, because like you just said though, everybody wasn't raised that way. Maybe he legit don't even realize that this is something that he should be doing. Maybe he was never taught to intervene or to come behind your woman when she's dealing with another man or anything like that.
Well, that's what he said in the video. So a lot of people aren't taught that way. And I think that oftentimes when we're choosing a person, we're choosing them based on how they look instead of how they've been brought up. Because we're not going to,
Mike,
I'm there. I'm waiting on it. Donnie did lose you. Good brother. Nah, but so go back to the video. If a guy comes up to your lady and he just starts a whole conversation, you standing right there, but he just started a whole conversation, beelining straight to you and just talking to her or asking her a question, what is your initial response?
I'm finna be like Major.
right. Like, what, am I not standing here? I don't know what.
No, I'm looking in my bag. This is my thing. Oh yeah, how you doing? Nice to meet you, bro. Because I don't know. I mean, my whole thing is because in some aspects, you can make yourself look bad. You can make yourself look bad. Like, I gotta show you that I'm here. I don't have to show you that I'm here. But also in the same aspect, I don't want her to feel like that. I don't want to look like that. There's like so many different, and maybe it's just because I think a lot about shit. But for me, there's so many different things. I'd rather just have the conversation with her. And that's the thing for me at this age is controlling my anger in my attitude. Like not keeping my attitude. I feel like you've done something that you know is gonna piss me off, and you want me to overlook at it, or you want me to, and like you want me to look at this differently. I don't know. It's just different.
I feel that, and hopefully at this age, I don't even have to say hopefully for us, but I know at this age we're choosing partners that we align with, meaning some stuff we don't even have to have a full conversation about. Like, I know you're the type of woman that'll be like, oh, by the way, this is my fiance, Mike. You know what I mean? Without me even having to make a look or a nudge or nothing.
So here's the question as a partner. I say, here's the question. As a partner, if she doesn't for you, and you know she's the kind of woman that does, what happens if she doesn't? Because she may have forgotten his name.
Yeah. No, so again, that to me, again, that maturity level and that maturity, even in your relationship with your partner, you can't automatically jump off the handle and go left. You literally, like all the stuff you just named, you have to take into consideration. Oh, maybe she got caught up in a moment. Maybe she didn't want to, whatever the case. But in that, once we get to the house, I'm gonna ask about it because that's just communication. Hey, babe, earlier I kind of felt, what was up with that? And then she'll tell me, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's funny. I knew it was something. You know, it don't have to be an argument just because you want to get something off your chest.
Here's what I have to work on. You know me, so you know I'm already like, ooh, baby, ooh, baby. Who the hell was that? I think what makes me mad is when I gotta ask you at that point because you know me. Now I feel like you're not studying your partner, or B, you don't care because I don't get the opportunity to do that. Let me run into somebody, and I don't say when we leave, hey, babe, I didn't remember her name, or babe, I don't even remember who that was, but yeah, that's why I didn't. You know?
Yeah. Yes.
He's back.
Yes.
I know I didn't miss much.
The disrespect.
No, I'm good. Keep going as you were.
No, but I completely understand that because it's like you get to this point to where you feel like, oh man, she knows me, she gets me, and so at that point you're like expecting almost that you already know what to do in certain situations. Case in point, when we go to eat, Janae, I don't let her, but she could almost order for me in some instances because you know. And if I were to go to the bathroom and come back and I got a margarita at the table, I'll be like, "What? You know I don't drink this shit. What's going on?" You know, but it's that feeling. It's that kind of feeling like you already know me. Why would you do the opposite of what you know?
What you know.
When you know.
Rashonda said, I always try to assume the best. We are always honest on this show. That is my main thing of trying to work on is if I chose this person and this is the person that I chose, when this happens, I have to go here first instead of where I naturally go, which is what the hell is going on. I have to go to the positive assumption that this is not some shit I don't want to see.
Yep. We got Elise said on Instagram, some men try other men in their face to see if they can take their girl. Just saying.
I think it's
was you here? Did you see, Donnie, when Mike asked me what would I do if the woman walked up? I mean, if a guy walked up to my girl and started talking?
No.
I said I'd be major. I need to check my pockets. I don't know.
Would you?
Oh, you on me? Hey, how you doing?
I mean, yeah. And as men, I think we could pick up when you trying to be funny out here and you're trying to low key see what's up with my girl. Come on, we don't got to do that. And that'll probably be my response. Like, brother, you don't got to do that.
Have you ever met a situation? Go ahead.
I was about to say, I just think that kind of what we were discussing in the beginning of the show. Even if I did recognize that, do I have time to invest in it in a way to where I'm like shucking and jiving with you? I'm just calling it out. I think at this age and where I'm at with what I value in life, you know, when I see foul play, I just got to call it what it is. I got to call a spade right there.
That nigga legs. I get it. Hey, I'm worried with you, bro.
And not even that though, because again, me and Mike talked about this. Sometimes that's the plot of the enemy too, to bait you, and to get yourself in a situation where you lose everything you've been working for because you want to have an ego competition with some nigga that ain't got nothing to do with your happiness. No, bro, we out
my happiness right now though.
Huh? Listen, me and my girl, we gonna look at each other and we're like, not today, Satan. We out. That's it. We moving, we pushing, we staying on our path. That's just a decoy. It's a distraction.
So then when she leaving, he slap your girl in the booty, and then you gonna turn the other cheek too, or she turned the other cheek. And he slapped it.
I'm not sure why you fantasize about these things, Mike, but I mean, at some point, I think you can.
I want you to choose violence. At some point, I would like you to choose violence. At some point,
see. That's
the thing
about the violence. That's the thing about the violence that God gave me. It surprises me. It comes. I don't plan it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You know, it just happened. So let's not. It's never good for anybody. Carrie, be quiet.
No.
Carrie, be quiet.
I was just there. Don't worry about it.
Listen, I'm moving on to the next video because Mike, why do you want to put money on my books? I understand.
This is what my woman said because she knows me.
She said what?
That's the fastest way to get the fuck out.
I'm gonna tell you like this. I told Denim already. Jay, I'm gonna tell you too. I'm not taking care of y'all when Mike is down. I'm not feeding you. I ain't clothing you. I ain't coming to fix nothing at the house. That nigga better stay in the house.
You get no support because I told this nigga before he did it.
No support if you do something like that. Now, if you down sick, I got your whole. I'm good. But no, you want to punch somebody? Or you gonna feel you gonna feel every bit of your consequence, nigga. How you gonna be wild like you ain't got a whole family to take care of, bro? You better make better. You better make family man decisions. You out here acting like you 20 years old with no responsibilities. Come on.
It's true. Shit. Yeah.
It is.
It's true. Yeah. Sometimes
And shit.
Since y'all want to choose violence, let's see. Let me get both of y'all hot. Let me see if I can.
Women don't really need men anymore, unfortunately. And here are the reasons why. In today's day and age, guys think they go to work, they come home, they play their video games, they watch their football games, they hang out on the couch playing with their phone, they go out with their friends, and that is their day. What do women bring to the table? They take care of the house, everything looks great, take care of the kids. Hey, by the way, are we going to the parent-teacher conference? No, mom's going. Hey, did you schedule that doctor's appointment? Mom's got it. Guys, we've got to bring more to the table. If you want to feel needed and wanted by women these days, do everything like they do. Match their energy. Women.
Why did you? That shit was such a setup. That shit was a set.
Oh my god! Yeah. Did you see everybody come back on? Everybody was like,
"Bro, I saw y'all faces backstage." I was like, "Proceed, gentlemen, proceed."
I don't have shit.
All right.
I don't. Nah, son.
I don't think Kerry's like the way the video started. It just.
Yeah, like.
How about to say just that first intro part? And I'm just like, what?
Women don't really need men anymore, unfortunately. And here.
And then the type of man he describes, like come home, get on the TV or get on the game and be on your phone. I'm like, none of my niggas do that. Niggas in relationships and single niggas though. And my single, y'all too. Like I don't know what type of male friends that he has in his life, but the ones that I have in my life and the ones I choose to associate myself with, because this sounds like he's talking like a ain't shit nigga. Like
let me tell you, Mike, from the seat of a relationship coach, he's not off target. That is a lot of men's reality who are in relationships. It's the same ones that are sitting in the passenger seat, and it's the same ones letting their woman pump the gas. The same dude.
Hey, can we say a lot though? Can we say a lot? Like without any stats, can we say a lot?
Yeah, because a lot only means from the perspective of people I've been exposed to. That's what a lot means. Ain't nobody done no world stats. So whenever somebody says a lot, I'm assuming they mean from their.
So then, from my perspective, like I said, the people I have put myself around, it's not a lot.
Yeah,
I don't know niggas that do that I associate with. Fair. That shit is trash to me.
Oh God, yes, Kerry.
So if I sit in the passenger seat, that make me kind of something.
In my world, yeah.
I think he said. Wait.
It's a thing, bro. It's a thing for
me.
It's
like
a thing.
Just not driving, just sitting in the passenger seat.
It's a thing for me. It's a thing for me. I'm not saying you less of a man, but it's a thing to me. When I see it, it icks me. I don't know. It's a thing for me.
What if your woman likes to drive?
You shouldn't care because you don't have to live in my world. If she likes to drive, no. In my world, no. I don't care if it's my homegirl, my girlfriend, my mom, my grandmother, my sister. I'm driving. Have I been traumatized by women's driving? That's not the point. I just think that is.
Yeah. So my words are spinning. I'm trying to understand over here. Like, okay.
You don't want to sit back and enjoy the breeze?
It does. I mean, I don't know how a man's supposed to be a passenger princess. I don't get it. It's just Carrie loves being a passenger. I know this is rubbing him the wrong way. No disrespect to any man that loves sitting in the passenger seat. I can't be comfortable there personally.
I think the only reason I'm not though is because I actually enjoy driving. So I'll drive like 90% of the time. because I like driving.
My trauma.
I drive from responsibility, not from enjoyment. I think it's a man's role. My personal
And
opinion.
I try when I don't have to drive, I'm comfortable in a car. Past trauma.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yeah. And everybody that works for them. His face was like 100% man in the passenger seat. But please tell me that your woman ain't pumping her own gas, especially when you're in a car.
Come on, bro. If you're going to the gas, if you got to get gas and I don't have nowhere to go, I'm gonna go with you to the gas station and come back home. Like that's different. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna sit in the passenger seat and let you drive though.
Okay. Listen, if you got a little princess in you, All right.
It's the mic pulled down for me.
It is. It's pretty fancy. I like it. I like it. I think he's trying to show off he's been in the gym. I understand what the
right. Slight bicep curl. Yeah.
Real quick. All right, so let's even the playing field here real quick.
What man is gonna look at that and say, you know what? I do need to pay her bills. Ladies, this is what you should ask yourself before you ask your man, that man, because he ain't yours yet. Ask yourself, what am I bringing to him to ease or make his life better? That's what value is. If you can't answer that question, you don't deserve anything yet. What has that man said in the way that you bring him value? If it's only, let me take you to dinner, let me take you to eat, let me do what? Why does he want to keep serving you if there's no service back? It is the law of reciprocity. What can you do to support that man? And that is the problem with these modern day women. It is all I, me, take. You got to be careful who you give to because takers don't know when to stop. Okay. I am tired. These people they're ruining this generation. It's literally ruining the generation. Mm-hmm. And then little girls are glamorizing and fetishizing.
I mean, they got Sexy Red as a role model, girl.
Oh, what?
She's tired.
So I got a question. Let me start off with a question because I tend to go in and be completely wrong.
Clarifying questions.
1000%. Did she say that bringing value, she said something where she said that's what value is, and I think she was alluding to bringing something to a man
that makes his life easier.
That's how she is saying a woman is either valuable or she's not. If you're not bringing anything to this man to make his life easier, you're not valuable. That sounds like bullshit to me. Like, so the only reason because the only reason that my girl is valuable is because she's doing something for me. What about the days that she's sick? She can't do nothing. Is she invaluable? I mean, is she not valuable anymore?
I don't think she's referring to momentary value. I think she's referring to the overall value of what a woman brings. Because you're right. Some days she's not going to be the queen to be. Some days she's going to be shit faced. But then other days, majority of the days, how is she? Janae's not a princess every day.
But it's not her job. It's not her job to make my life easier either. I would never task another person to make my life easier. That's my job. That's not her job.
Is it a task or is it an ability?
No, it's a task because she said you're not valuable if you don't do it. That makes it a task.
So in my world, I'm kind of siding with Carrie and the idea that something has value even when it's under maintenance. My car is valuable. I sent it into the shop and I can't use it for a few days. Doesn't mean it doesn't have value. It just requires maintenance. I have this idea that whatever you acquire requires maintenance. So if you find something of value, it only maintains and retains its value if it's well taken care of. And so I get that. At the same time, I'm listening to what Mike is saying, and I'm struggling a little bit because if you're saying that it's not about what she does that makes her valuable, then what is it that makes her valuable to you?
No, that's not what I said. I said it's not her job to make my life easier. Not that she can't bring value to my life, but that's not what makes her valuable. The fact that she's not valuable because she makes my life easier.
Okay. She's valuable because what?
She's valuable because the thing she
Wait. I don't want you to tell everybody your wedding vows. I don't know. This private information.
I was about to sing them.
This is what you say at the altar. He's about to. I'll tell you right now, my nigga.
So for me, the most valuable thing that she's brought to me is making me see me and making me want to be a better person because what she's shown me about me.
As making your life easier.
No, it didn't. It didn't, because I had to go through hell and high water because of what I saw. So it didn't make it easier. It's becoming easier now that I decided to do the work.
It's doing what?
Okay. Fair
Wait,
enough.
hold on. It's doing what? What'd you say? It's becoming easier
because I decided to do the work.
Okay, but it doesn't matter. The point is, she showed you what you needed to do the work for, ultimately to become
so valuable. So but let me tell you, Kerry, what I hear Mike saying is that she may have presented something, but if he hadn't acted on it, the easier it would have shown up.
1000%.
Right, but when you act on it, what is the outcome?
But also with that is some men may not see that as value. Oh, you trying to say I'm like this? Well, fuck you. I'll get another girl. So that ain't that.
Some men, we're talking about what you said. You said she showed me.
Well, initially I felt that way. So I had to change my mindset because I was the nigga that was like, oh no. What?
But ultimately, the way that you think now, the way that you move now, and the things that you have changed based on what she showed you in the mirror, which is you ultimately feel better in life. It ultimately has been an improvement of your life based on you looking in the mirror and holding yourself accountable, because nobody else could make you do it beforehand.
1000%. But again, that's something that's something that I could only do. Her showing me did nothing but show me. If I would, like Donnie said, if I would have never acted on that, if I would have never took that even into consideration, it means nothing. The only reason it meant something is because I made a decision for it to mean something.
So what made you make the decision?
Because I realized I had to look at all my relationships, not just my ones with her. And then I had to go back to my past relationships. And then I had to look inwards and realize, like, this is not really what you want to be. This is not really what you want to do. So let's make the decision to get your shit together.
Well, I'm going to say it like this. If a person can make my life easier, that's so valuable to me. But I'm going to add a caveat to it, Kerry, because this is where it becomes damaging psychologically. If you can make my life easier without making your own life miserable, that's valuable. Because some people are people pleasers to the point to where they aim to make people's life easier at their own expense. But I think that it's a good match when we both make each other's lives easier without making our own lives miserable. I feel like that's how you know you got something powerful and compatible.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Because you can definitely.
Say that again, Kerry. I didn't hear you.
I was just saying, because the relationships, friendships can definitely be damaged if you are finding more space to help someone, and when you're giving you and losing you at the same time. It's very much a double-edged sword.
That's a bad place to be in.
But listen,
that's a bad place to be in.
I had a friend check me. Well, bring a question to me this week, and they were asking about like how you see yourself in relationships. Look at your last few relationships. You can see maybe some things that you need to heal from as a child. And I saw myself still trying to prove I was worthy of love. And I'm like, I see it in hindsight with the moves that I was making, not setting healthy boundaries or not enforcing my boundaries, just putting myself at the service of whoever it is that's in front of me. And I think that is something that can originate in childhood, but also originate within the church. Certain churches that I've been to where they prioritize service to such a degree and have no talk about mental health, no talk about emotional preservation or about self-love and self-care. It's this idea of serving and sacrificing absent your own responsibility to take care of this vessel that God's given you. And I think that's something that I think has to come into consideration, because sometimes you may see, what I've seen is someone wants somebody so bad that they'll do anything that person wants, even if it's damaging them. And then if they don't get that person, then they're mad at that person because they overextended themselves. It's almost like the person is already in debt and they still at the craps table. You got to get up and walk away. You ain't gonna be able to cover this debt. Like, this is going to damage you. And so I think sometimes people gotta just recognize that it's not so much the person's out of your league. It's just sometimes you're just not everybody's cup of tea. They don't want you. And it doesn't matter how hard you serve and how easy you say you can make their life. They don't want you.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
There's
And you can't blame the dealer because you didn't get up and walk away.
No, you cannot.
So let me ask this, and when we're capping off this particular video. So direct question. So for Carrie and Donnie, if the woman partner in your life does not make your life easier, is she of no value to you?
She'll never become a partner. You said if it's a woman partner, ain't no way. I've done that. I've tried. I'm not saying I'm never doing it again because I've tried it and it didn't work. I'm not a believer of that, but I am saying where I've evolved in my understanding is that they're a prerequisite now to become one of my partners, and that's one of them.
Yeah. I just think I
need the benefit to be obvious. Go ahead, bro.
No. I was saying that I totally agree in every aspect. You fall into a different category. When it gets to that point, that's just you can no longer be here. You know what I mean? We had a conversation before. If this is what you call yourself, and then you've done this, and I haven't done this, then you can't be in the same category as me. So which means it shifts in your category status.
Yeah,
so yes,
it has to. Yeah,
I can love you, and we can have an amazing friendship, but for me to partner with you, it would have to be a different.
Carrie, take a moment and just clarify the difference between, because some people don't like the word partner or whatever it is, but how do you know when when you are ready to go to the next level of commitment and camaraderie with a person? I'm talking about from the dating phase all the way up to marriage, because you've been married before. So how did you know, what are the indicators and the verifiers you use to identify, okay, I'm ready to move into exclusivity, I'm ready to move into engagement, I'm ready to move into marriage?
I'm choosing not to walk away, because I will walk away quick. And in my mind, if my choices are not selfish, and when I say selfish, I'm not a selfish person, but if my choices are considering you and me, not just me and whatever you feel, it's the adjustments for me. That's overall what it is. It's the adjustments and the modifications of my life for you. When I am willing to make those without you asking me, I am more concerned with my choices and how they affect not only me, but they affect you. Now we've got a different space, because the only person I really have to do that for is my son. That's my responsibility. So when you become a part of that genre of people, now we are discussing another level, because I was given CJ by God.
Yeah.
And so in this same aspect, I'm hoping if this is you, then I was given you by God too. So now I have to steward this as though I do, my other responsibilities.
1000%. Yeah.
So that's, and I can't, Mike's been married too. So you understand this statement. I cannot put everything. And that's the biggest thing that I'm learning right now. I cannot put everything in the same category. If it looks the same, if it came about the same, if it sounds the same, it very well could be AI.
Wow.
Come on, man.
Wow.
What?
Okay.
So
that's
you
good.
really
I like that
have to be conscious of what you want, B, what you're praying for, and C, the wisdom to know if this is really it. That's where my prayer has been in this stage of life is, hey, this is what I think it looks like, God. Please help me see if this is really what this is or not.
That is really it. So
is this the direction I'm supposed to be going in, or is this a direction I just want to be going in?
Let me tell you this, bro. I think I've been there and I love that. And what I've learned is that I ask that question before I get in the game. I ask when I'm like right now while I'm single, I'm asking God, what do you say I should look for before I'm in it? So it's like I'll be waiting to see a certain thing. It's almost like, remember in the book Before the I Do, the guy who's going to get a wife.
Can you clarify? I wrote a book called Before the I Do.
You wrote a book. Oh,
yes.
And so in the book, we talk about, are you the one? That's one of the chapters called Are You the One? And it talked about this servant under the command of his master going to find a wife for his son. And he prayed and he asked God to make him successful in his voyage to try to find a wife for his master's son. And a question was given to him. And so he asked this question. He said, whoever answers the question this way, that's the one that you should propose to and talk to the parents and see if you can get her to come back for the master's son. And ever since then, I thought it was wise to have this verification, this identification and verification conversation with God prior to getting out there, because once I'm in it, I do feel like my emotions and my personal desires might show up to influence and to grade on a curve when God has already made it explicitly clear to me what to look for in my singleness before I had anybody in mind. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, sure do. Sure do.
So that's why I can be. It's like this, man. I was talking to one of my friends, and they were talking about how they try to hook people up, like, "Oh, this guy would be so good for you. This guy would be so good for you. This guy would be so good for you." And I said, "Do you ever do it in reverse, also? Like, this guy would be good for her, but then this is why she would be good for the guy as well." Because if it's only one way, then that can be extremely challenging to somebody who's looking to get into that relationship space for some fruit themselves, right? And I don't think that's selfish. What?
I was going to say, isn't it already one way? Because as men, we're taught to chase the woman, so it starts off kind of
depends on what culture you're talking about. Not all of them teach that, but
I'm talking about the one we live in. That's the only one I could talk about.
So I was taught the difference between pursuing and chasing. Not the same thing. Pursuing and the main difference between pursuing and chasing is that there's a mutual pursuit. There's an attraction. There's a dance. Chasing is that you're trying to escape. Pursuing is a dance. That's what I think that
it seems like current day, a lot of women want to be chased.
Yeah.
Not pursued. I think they get pursuing and chase mixed up because they feel like if you're pursuing me, you should be taking care of these things. No, baby, that's chasing. That's a chase over there. If I'm pursuing you, I'm doing things that's going to progress us into another stage, not just progress your pockets and decrease mine.
Wow.
Yep. So I'm gonna add this to the conversation, just because.
If you want your house clean, hire me a maid.
Okay.
Realistically, yes.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
You want me to clean? I agree. I'll hire the maid and I'll marry the maid.
Boom.
I'll marry the maid.
She's tied up. She's done lots of stuff.
That's the question. That's the question.
You know, she's on the time of the month.
Of course.
And she's like, can you please help me with the dishes?
Yes, I will say to her, of course, Habibti, I'll do the dishes. By the way, you got the rent this week.
You're taking the mick.
Okay. Look.
Why do men go into marriages hating their wives? If
that first one was cold. That first one was cold.
Say it again.
Okay.
If you want your house clean, hire me a maid.
Okay.
Realistically, yes.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
You want me to clean? I agree. I'll hire the maid and I'll marry the maid.
Boom.
I'll marry the maid.
She's tied up. She's done lots of stuff.
That's the question.
You know, she's on the time of the month.
Of course.
And she's like, can you please help me with the dishes?
Yes, I will say to her, of course, Habibti, I'll do the dishes. By the way, you got the rent this week.
You're taking the mick.
Okay. Look.
Why do men go into marriages hating their wives? If
All right, let's start our assumptions. Let's get it.
So I want to start at the end. Why do women
go into marriage hating their wives?
Is it so because I won't buy you a maid, I hate you? Is that what we because I won't do literally everything you ask of me, and that's I'm paraphrasing, but I'm assuming based on the little bit we got. Because I'm not doing everything you want me to do, I hate you? No.
I'm looking at this from a cultural lens. I don't know much about their culture, but I do know that it appears that they're from a culture where multiple wives are allowed, or at least there's arranged marriages. And so and from what I believe about that culture is that the lines or the parameters by which a husband and a wife operate are supposed to be very clear. And you know, I think that existed in America for a little bit, but now people in their liberties don't want to operate under the same guise as they've been told to historically. So people are like, no, that's how my parents did it, but I don't want to do it that way. I have a way I want to express myself in marriage. And I think it's becoming very combative amongst a lot of people. And I think the easiest solution is just to find somebody who wants what you want instead of trying to convince somebody to want what you want. Like if that's not the wife she wants to be, then let her be that wife or a man who wants that kind of wife.
How do you separate that when you've already fallen in love with that partner?
You have to ask yourself, what did you actually fall in love with?
And I think that a lot of people are like you made the comment of a lot of people these days are kind of going against the, what has been done in times past. But I feel like a lot of, I'll say even people our age are kind of looking at it like, well, my mom and dad got a divorce, then why would I do it the way they did it? 1,000%. I'm gonna try to do something else or something different or try something new. Or exactly opposite of what they did, because clearly they didn't work out. You know what I mean? But I feel like that may be the mindset of some people these days, and why so many new types of things are happening. Like, why, is it okay to bring another person into the relationship? I feel like people are just experimenting, trying to make something work that maybe hasn't been working in the past.
Yeah. And I agree. I think that self-exploration and expression are becoming big, maybe even big to the place of idolization, which, could be a dangerous. I think that's a dangerous thing for a Christian, but we can't sit there and talk like everybody that we're posting videos from is a believer or that the word of God is their final authority. That's what makes this so fun, because we just talking about what we talking about, and it may not even land or apply to the specific community we talking about, but I'm talking about it from a standpoint of a believer who is at a certain place in his faith. I'm still trying to figure some things out. So I'm not talking to you from a Bible college about this is the way it is. This is what I understand so far. And these are just the things that I can appreciate. There's certain things I can appreciate about the way the culture does it. And there's certain things I can appreciate about the way the church does it. And I'm still growing and I'm still learning. But I know as for me, what I'm understanding from this is that if you have these conversations ahead of time, like every time I've gone through premarital counseling, if you have these conversations ahead of time, they ask you, what do you think the role of a wife is? Or what do you think the role of a husband is? You have to answer on paper, and then you guys have a discussion. If those don't align, then what you about to do? How can two people walk together unless they agree? What you in love 100%. With? If you love me and you see all these things that you don't like, then you're in love with the idea of me, not who I am.
And that line of questioning that's not even on a Christian, Buddhist, atheist level. That should be asked no matter what or who you believe in. Like, that's relationship question. Like, especially if we're talking about marriage, that's the number one question that should be asked.
What if it's not really a problem and it's just a level of maturity? Like, it's you know that because it changes in most people. Like this, let's just say we're talking about.
True.
It's just it changes with most people, but it's just like right now, no, this doesn't fit. I feel like sometimes we don't know when to get up and walk away from the table, because it's like, I know a good hand is coming. Like, this is a great seat, and I've seen the potential in this seat, and I like this seat. I like the hands I'm getting, but I ain't really winning right now. But the cards will change. I know the cards are going to change.
Let me ask you, Carrie, how old were you when you got married?
29.
29. Okay. And so I'm looking at us in our 20s versus us in our 40s, and the conversation we're having and how much we've grown. And I'm wondering, and I'm looking at the girlfriends I had in my 20s, am I giving them the credit they deserve as I recognize the place I was in my maturity when I was in my 20s? And because when I think about who I thought I was and what I thought I knew in my 20s and what I was standing on, what I was calling business, and now that I'm older, I'm recognized that, bruh, you were standing on BS. I'm looking at the women that were standing with me, knowing that someday I'm going to change. I'm like, why are you trying to change me? I am who I am, only to become 44 and say, yeah, I wasn't who I was. It's like at some point, humility has to set in, even at 44, and say what Carrie just said. I stand strong on this, and I'm still going to probably change. Yeah. And so is this worth us separating over? Or is this worth it's always going to be a risk. There's no amount of questions that's going to remove the risk of, getting hurt in this process, in my mind.
And for me, you are absolutely right. And in my mind as well. I think what makes that a more comfortable place for me to actually be in, like, hey, I'm uncomfortable here. But finding a comfortable space is when you become your partner becomes uncomfortable too, because now you're making the same adjustments and changes as though I am. So I feel like I'm not the only one that's sitting in the desert while you're sitting in the city. Like we both here in the desert trying to move to another destination. But sometimes you feel like it's just you making these adjustments and these changes, because I think sometimes it's a stigma that the man has to make all the adjustments, and you're not going to find the perfect woman, and she's not going to. I think that's bullshit. You don't have to find the perfect woman, but you do have to, you can find the partner that is going to move with and for you.
Let me ask both of you guys a question, since you both been married. I want to ask you this question. At my job, when I'm doing interviews, I'm interviewing people for a specific role, and I know what the job description is. I know what the job title is. So I know what I'm looking for when I'm interviewing. There's a purpose for this role. This function of this role, it helps my company operate a certain way. So we need this position for this purpose so that we continue to reach the vision. You guys have both been married. What do you believe the purpose of marriage is?
Partnership and progression. I feel like, and this is just my thoughts, and I could be totally wrong in somebody else's eye. I feel like you get to a point where, you know, God has you in a space where this is, you can only get so far by yourself. That's my belief, is that, and when I say this far in certain lanes, my lane that God has me in, I can go as far as I'm allowed, because that's just me. In regards to the progression of things that come as a rib, I can't be my own rib. So in that, there's got to be progression from something more than. If that's the case, then it wouldn't have even been called that. There's got to be some kind of progression that you provide in showing up. Progression of children, progression of life. It's a level of progression. I shouldn't feel and be the same with a partner, I don't believe.
Got you. Okay. Mike?
I feel like I would have to say there's perks to being single that you don't get when you're married, and there's perks to being married that you don't get when you're single. And I'm talking even from a business aspect. If Janae's last name becomes Daniel, there's certain things that we can do with that one last name together that I couldn't do with her last name being Williams. You know what I mean? That's why when people say that they feel like marriage is a business transaction, a lot of that is true. 1,000% it is. 1,000% it is. But I don't think that takes anything away from the beauty of being married. But I feel like those perks that you get when you're married, you know, it's just different. Do I think that? And again, I think that a lot of emphasis is put on marriage because of our beliefs. Because, as you said, there's some people that don't believe in marriage. Because for me, I would be with Janae whether we got married or not. You know what I mean? But in our society, in our religious beliefs, you know, marriage is a key thing. So that's why a lot of people do it.
And so that's what I want to expound upon. It's a key thing for what?
Well, because God said that it's better to be married than burn, even though people out here burning anyway.
To burn with lust. So I have this, and I asked you guys this question because I've never been married before, but I've come up with this idea in the dating environment that helps me matriculate from one level to another, right? From friends to let's date to exclusive to fiance to marriage, right? And the question is, what is it that I need from you or want to give you that the position you hold is no longer an appropriate space to do it? What is it that I need from you or that I want to give you that the position that you're in is no longer an appropriate place to do it?
Listen, it goes back to what I said, those legalities and those legal perks you get, because at the end of the day, you don't have to have my last name for me to be monogamous. You don't have to have my last name for us to live together. You don't have to have my last name for us to have children together. You don't have to have my last name for us to be happy together. So the only thing left is the legalities of marriage, those perks of marriage that we can both get, but us both having the same last name.
What was the statement? What was the question you asked, Donnie? Repeat it.
What is it that I want to give you or that I need from you that the position you hold is no longer an appropriate place to do it?
Me. Because I can't give just anybody me.
You can, you won't, but you can. You can do it.
It's not
to that capacity. That's what I'm saying. And to that capacity of what I desire to give my partner or my wife, is me. It's the me that I don't give other people. It's the level of vulnerability that I don't give other people. It's the level of try that I don't give other people. It's the level of concern that I don't give other people. So it's me.
There's this idea in marriage that in the Christian marriage that, you know, you die and you become one. And I think that goes back to what Carrie was saying, and even alluding to the practical way that Mike said it, and that there's certain things, there's a certain aspect of life I'll never be able to experience lest I die to self and am joined as one with another person. I think that that right there gives you access to a certain life. It gives you access to a certain living. And so as I'm looking at, you know, when do I want to matriculate to the next stage with this person? It's important for me to think about what responsibilities come with that title. Do you know what those responsibilities are, and do you want those responsibilities? Right? Because I'm going back to the job. If I'm interviewing people and if they just want the paycheck, but they don't want the responsibilities, if they just want the authority, but they don't want the accountability, that can be problematic in your role, because you're expecting a paycheck and I'm expecting
partnership.
I'm expecting you to do what you signed up to do, right? But if they don't have clarity on what they're getting signed up to do, then that kind of comes back to me. And this goes back to last week's episode. Only what you allow will continue. So at some point, men have to come up with a greater standard. If they're tired of women taking advantage of them, that's what they're saying, then you have to come up with a greater standard and enforce that standard to a greater degree, or you're going to continue to keep experiencing what you've been experiencing because you are the one allowing it.
I agree with that, but I think there's still a little bit more to it, because now with today's society, there's always going to be a man out there that's going to cater to the woman that just wants the paycheck. So it's so common now that women are really willing to pass over. Like, I know that this could be the best guy for me, but he's offering a paycheck, so I'm gonna go with him. You know what I mean? Like that's like big these days. Like it's talked about in song, like old girl just mentioned in the video. Like that's what today's culture is. Find a nigga with the money, give him all the sex he wants, so you can keep him.
And I'm not gonna say that I agree with that positioning or that strategy, but I am gonna say, like I said last week, it's great because now you've eliminated yourself from a place you didn't belong anyway. You didn't need to be in the runnings. If that's your MO, thank you for exposing who you truly were. You made my job easier. Like if that's all it takes, I'm not mad at you at all. Thank you. Now I can focus on the ones that are within within the scope of boundaries and morals and ethics that work for me. Man. I just it's such an interesting topic. You know what I'm saying to you? Because when I think about, you know, in my last relationship, you know, getting the engagement ring, getting ready to make that move, and somebody asked me, they said, "Are you sure?" I think it might have been you. It sounds like something you would have said.
Yep, I believe
I remember trying to answer that in my head, like from a place of faith.
Talk about that, because that's good. Is marriage something that you should walk into in faith? Or is it something that you should walk in with God's blessing? Because if God is blessing it, then you don't need faith for it. He already told you this is what it was.
All I can share with you is where I'm still struggling, because me and God, I went from being mad at the situation to being mad at God. Like, God, I feel like you called me into this. But multiple times she said, you know, is this what God's telling you to do? I'm like, I think so. Like, I'm just trying to move by faith. I really don't know. I think Mike Todd said in his book, you don't know if it was faith until you don't really know if you heard from God until after, until you see the fruit of a thing. And so I'm looking at this and I'm like, do I have an issue with hearing from God? Or I'm like, nah, but that sounds like God to me. Like I had a similar situation, and it made me rethink everything. When I gave my truck away after I paid it off, I was like, dang, was that God? You know what I'm saying to you? When I took this other job, I'm like, was that God? Like when I bought this car, like I'm thinking of all these other things, like because I'm looking for immediate evidence that it was him. And sometimes it takes time. But I saw a post that helped me out a lot. He said, you want to know the difference between God's voice and your emotions? Is that your emotions are chaotic and they're unstable. God's voice is still and it's exact. It gives you details and it gives you that certainty. It's like it's just this one thing. And it's not all over the place. It doesn't excite you into anxiety. It actually brings you into peace, right? So they gave a lot of descriptions about the difference between the two. And so when I look back over my situation, I'm like, man, that per this definition, it was definitely God. And I have to just chalk it up to his ways are above my ways and his thoughts are above my thoughts, because I recognize that my tendency and my pattern is that God will give me a little information and I'll get ahead of him. I'll assume that I know what he's doing. Oh, if you told me to make her my girlfriend, if you told me to, take her out on a date, if you told me to expose my emotions to her, then that must mean I'm supposed to marry her. It's like, first of all, just stick with what I told you. And that's why people ask me, like, even with this job, I'm doing this UX design training. And I'm like, I told myself, so before the year is out, I'm gonna apply for a job and I'm about to get a job in this, UX career. And I'm gonna be happy doing something I'm passionate about. And I got in prayer and God was like, I told you to take the classes. Never told you was going to go into that career field. Never told you I was going to give you a job. I said, take the classes. And I'm just like, okay, I've done this multiple times in my life to where I hear a little bit and I just try to go ahead and I call that faith. That ain't faith. Faith is when you are stepping out on something that God told you to do, either his written word or his rhema word, right? You know what I'm saying? Not just on what my desires are. And so, that's where I've had to learn to check myself. So to answer your question, bro, I don't know. We're going to have to just wait and see. If what I'm talking about, adds up to anything beneficial.
Yeah, that's facts.
Yeah. That's right. I don't know what happened to Brother Kerry, but I got another video for you.
All right, let's go.
You know what? Let's do this video first. I would love for Kerry to be a part of this video. All right, so let's wait. Let's do this one first, and then we'll wait for Carrie for the other one.
A good woman will not outspend your income.
I disagree.
I don't think I think a
good woman wouldn't purposefully want to do that.
That's what I'm saying.
But
You're saying some could be dumb?
I would say naive.
Okay, so I'll clarify. A good woman would not intentionally outspend your income. A bad woman would. There's such a thing, A good.
She because she's a bad woman. She don't want to get that up. She don't want to give that up, nigga. Because she tried to clarify it, make it the blow a little bit easier, and then he clarified, and then she's still like, it's okay.
Like, it's okay, like they exist. But I think it's more of some places like just a person. And again, I'm ready to assume all day long. It's one of those places where it's like, let's not call them bad women, but like some people are intentionally living below the mandate that they know they've been called to live by. And do I call them bad person? Well, I can't call anybody good, so I really can't call anybody bad. But are they being obedient? Like, it's so many things when you're cross-culturing between Christian and non-Christian, believer and non-believer. But the fact of the matter is that you have ill intentions, and that makes you something. Whatever your culture wants to call
negative, it, bad, whatever. Right, exactly. It makes you something. You wouldn't spend. I would say you wouldn't spend your money like that, but you'll spend my money like that. That makes you something. This is a conversation I had a few weeks ago with a friend about this same video, and they were like, "Well, not on." How can it be a conversation?
Because the thing, well, not on purpose. Like she said, well, you call them dumb or naive. No, it's intention. If and then again, for me, it goes back to the man. If you saw the way she was irresponsible with her own finances, and you thought that for some reason she would be responsible with whatever assets you're bringing to the table, that's boo-boo the fool. That's fool on you. You did that to yourself.
And on the other side of that, if you've created this monster because you always forking out money, then all of a sudden you want to tell her she's bad for spending up all your money. Well, this is the monster you created. You can't be mad at her. She's doing exactly what you allowed her to do from jump.
Yeah.
You started the date by flying her to Paris. That was your first date. She has every right to expect that. She has every right to expect that. If that's how you wanted to come off and make yourself look like you just got it like that, then she has every right.
we got one woman in the video saying how these women are ruining these good men by how they're acting and behaving. And then at the same time, these other women wouldn't exist unless there was supply and demand, unless these other men out here were paying for that and affording those lifestyles. And somebody is funding that personality that she continues to walk in. Somebody's funding that. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, who you gonna be mad at? You mad at
everybody needs to just get mad at themselves. Because we all playing a role. So everybody just be mad at yourself.
Bruh. You the supplier, you the consumer, right? Only my mom said it. Only what you allow will continue. So take some. So there's just this point that me and my friends were studying this week. It's about accountability. And the question that came up was, when are you the most unkind? When are you the most unkind? And so they said, based on the answer, you could see their relationship with accountability. If you ask someone, when are you the most unkind? And they say, when people do X, Y, and Z, they struggle with accountability. If you ask someone, when are you the most unkind? And they say, when I neglect to do X, Y, and Z, they have a good relationship with accountability. Because the question is, when are you the most unkind? Being unkind is something that you choose to do. But if you're saying that other people's behaviors indicate if you're going to be kind or not, then you have a rough relationship with accountability. Someone says, when are you the most unkind, Don? And I say, when I neglect to get the food or the rest that I need, that's when I'm usually the most unkind. That's when my patience lacks. If someone says I'm the most unkind when people treat me unfairly, let's talk about accountability here, bro. Dude, you can still choose to be kind in those situations. My unkindness stems from me neglecting to give myself the things I need to stay kind.
That's 1000%. Yep.
Well, I don't know if Carrie's coming back, bro, but you want this next video?
I just hit him and I texted him. He ain't responded.
Maybe that little power surge that hit my house hit his house because he right down the street.
Yeah.
All right. So check. I want to. Let me check with the audience. We ain't really been visiting that, and I want to get their opinion on this next thing. So, Allie said, "I don't want to spend a man's money. Period. At 42, I've got my own. If he wants to give me money, I'd probably put it aside for bills to buy him a gift or down the road. You better go ahead, Allie. You better go ahead."
Allie is one of them unicorns, though.
Allie, how did you get the way that you are? Because I believe that, again, somebody who did you experience that helps facilitate this incredible personality and perspective that you have on a lot of situations? Not to say there's something we don't disagree on, but for the most part, you be coming through with a unique perspective. And how did you get there? I want
a very mature perspective.
I want to present this to you, Mike. Marcella said, there's too many laws and bylaws. I'll just stay single. I can't be looking over my shoulder, making sure I'm doing this right. Like always, I'm always in school. She said, it's scary enough dating, giving someone a chance alone, trying to get to know someone too. How would you respond to that? Because I have a response.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but did she say it makes her feel like she's always in school?
I can't be looking over my shoulder, making sure I'm doing this right, like I'm always in school. Yeah.
So, to me personally, I always want to be in school. I always want to be learning. I always want to be finding out how to do new things, how to make things better, how to make myself better. So, I don't see necessarily feeling like you're in school as a negative. I think if you kind of change your mindset and change your perspective on things, it can open up and be more optimistic about things. I feel like it can change that glass from half empty to half full. It could be at the same level, but just change your mindset on a lot of things, and I could really shoot you in a different trajectory.
That makes sense, man. I went to school for recess, but I get it. Yeah.
It looks like you did it.
Lunchtime was my time, brother. I'll tell you that.
Give me my sandwich, give me that kickball, and let's go.
Well, we had a game. We played with scissors. So we were the school scissors, the metal ones. Scissors.
Was this a youth authority?
This is actually at West Angeles Christian Academy, from where I went from first.
So why would you call them out for that? You gonna have them people up there tomorrow? No. We gotta report that
they tore the school down like a few years ago. So I'm good.
Talk on, brother. Talk on.
Talk on, brother. Right. So what we do, we take the metal scissors from art class and we pull them all the way back to where they're stuck together. We throw them up in the air and we had to catch them like this in our hands. That was one of our favorite recess games.
Do you scissors? You realize it now? You have to.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because you're up in the air like, I got it right here. Just, I hope my mom isn't watching.
God say it's fools and babies, and y'all was both,
bruh. That was our game, and it was teachers out there watching us. I hope he gets
probably betting on it.
I was good, bro. That's where my hand-eye coordination come from today, bro.
Good at what? Catching scissors?
Yeah, catching bullets with my teeth.
Golly.
Mom texted me, said I'm watching. Let's go on to the next. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Lakeisha said it. I used to be a West Angeles banger myself. I actually love the church. No. Oh, well, yeah, it was an extension of the church. Did you go?
But you was talking about the school
academy. Was you at the academy? It was a show. We need to talk.
Look at her hands. If her hands are sliced up, that's how y'all knew each other.
Whatever, nigga. All right, we move on to the
next. Them hands was calloused and sliced up. Yeah, you went there.
Surviving Waka, for real. That's what we used to call it.
That's funny.
So Carrie probably ain't coming back. So I'm gonna play this video right here, and I want to see what you think about this.
Jealous of girls that weren't that solid.
Yeah.
Who are getting all the solid guys.
Girl, I hear this all the time in the single circle that I'm in is like, why is it that this girl who's not even walking with the Lord is getting literally asked out by every single Christian guy?
Yeah.
And the Christian guys aren't asking out the solid Christian girls.
Yeah, it was really frustrating to me. And it was like, I feel like I'm being so faithful and doing all the right things. And why are these girls who are like
why is the wicked prospering?
You know what I mean?
Even
exactly.
Though they're not wicked,
you're not
but
exactly
similar thing.
Jealous of.
So
why is the wicked prospering? But they're not wicked.
This is wild.
Let's talk about it.
This is wild to me. So the only prerequisite that you need is that he be a Christian. That's it. He could be a killer, a rapist, a pedophile, but if he's a Christian, I want him. Why? What? You have an issue with all these non-believing girls getting all these Christian guys. Who cares? You don't know that this Christian guy is the guy for you or the right guy, or you don't know if he's gonna whoop your ass one night. You don't know that. It has to be more than, oh, they're just getting these Christian guys and it's not fair. Being Christian don't, excuse my French, but being Christian don't mean shit if you're not living that lifestyle. And if you're not walking in it, it don't mean nothing. That's just the title.
Let me tell you what it is. Let me tell you what it is. Because I've been in the circle. Like I've talked about this on the show plenty of times. It's a status item to be able to say, "Oh yeah, my man he's a man of God. He carries the title of man of God." And the Christian community is like, "Oh yeah, he serves in the church. He does." And that's like, "Girl, you got you a man that carries the title." I'm not saying that he carries the attributes.
Oh, I agree. I'm a PK. I agree.
And you know what I'm saying to you? And so, and they're asking this question. And so I asked one of my friends, like, do you struggle with this? And she's like, yeah, I struggle with watching women who carry themselves loosely get chosen by men who are supposed to be Christian men. Why don't they want, it's almost like the conversation, why don't black men want black women? Why don't Christian men want Christian women who've been preserving themselves and keeping themselves? And I said, then it's worth having a conversation. Instead of just being upset, find out what it is that men are actually looking for. Take the Christian away and find out what are men really looking for right there, D. Before there's this whole religion associated with it, because the religion does help you with your morals and ethics and how you do life. But before that, you know what I'm saying to you, there's not a lot of mandates in the Bible about how to be fun. You know what I'm saying? There's not a lot of whole mandates in the Bible about like, you know, certain senses of humor, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes people prefer someone who's, you know, it's I won't say not so conservative, but that's a preference. But what I struggle with in certain communities that I've been with, that's why I love this church that I'm at, and I love the community that I'm with, is that they just because something, they don't try to make everything that they disagree with sinful. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like there's things in the Bible that are sin, with direct disobedience from God, but you'll try to make it sinful if I do something that's frowned upon, or I don't think that's a good look. Well, is it disobedience? Is it sin? No, but it's just not wise, and you try to make it a sin. So you try to make me carry conviction about something that you have a preference about, that is not God's preference.
This is crazy. This is crazy. I gotta interrupt you. This is crazy.
Yeah, go for it.
So I'm gonna tell you a real life thing that's happened in my life. So I got a homeboy, and he recently announced that he was homosexual and he's getting married. So a member of my family, I won't even go and say who the member was, but a member of my family calls me and says, "Hey, what you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm out getting measured for a suit, going to a wedding." She was like, "Oh, whose wedding?" And I said, "Oh, this person." And she's like, "Oh, isn't that person getting married to another guy?" I said, "Yeah." Oh, because again, I'm a PK, right? So it went from there to, if that's what you're involving your sin, then that means you're sinning, and it just went down this rabbit hole, and it became this person trying to guilt me into not going, and guilt me into this, all behind religion. Well, I talked to another member of my family. He said, "No, it's not a sin for going. I mean, that's just something you and God will have to deal with. You're not committing any sin by attending." You know what I mean? Now you could look at your moral compass or your spiritual compass and judge it from that, but you're not. And I feel like that deters a lot of people from becoming believers, because it's so much judgment. It's so much, "Oh, you're going to hell. You're going to hell. You're going to hell."
You want to clarify this for Lakeisha? Said, what's the PK? Gang banging stuff or something else?
Pastor's kid. Pastor's
and
kid. But
sometimes, so the thing that I've been hit with was you want to avoid the appearance of evil. Yeah. Right, you don't want your witness to be, cause somebody else to stumble. And 100%. So we're talking about, me and, saying one of my girlfriends going on a trip somewhere, staying in the same room. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's like, even if we don't do anything, it looks bad. I said, it looks bad to who? People who don't know me? Yeah. And, what I'm saying? It's like, well, it doesn't matter. It still looks bad. I said, cool. I said, I got you. So me and my sister went on a trip, and me and my sister had the same last name. Me and my sister ain't married. Me and my sister shared a room because it's me and my sister. We go to the lobby. People see me and my sister walking together. We 6 years apart. We look like we were around the same age. That don't look good either, do it? So should me and my sister, not my sister in Christ, my actual blood sister, for the sake of appearances, get 2 separate rooms so that it doesn't look a certain way? Or should I consult God and seek guidance from His Spirit and move like that?
There it is, sir. Yep.
And so I'm not arguing that they're wrong. I'm just saying my perspective. I'm not arguing with them that they're wrong. My perspective is that let's look at this a little bit broader, because what are you really saying to me? All it sounds like you're saying is that you don't think this is a good idea.
That's what it is, personal opinion.
And you think it's going to make Christians look bad.
What about?
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to turn around and say, well, what you're doing make Christian look bad. I want to be a part of the solution. All I'm saying is that we have a difference of opinions, and that's okay. And it is not like I'm trying to justify a sin. My microphone doing something weird. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was popping for a second there, like little pops when you were talking.
Okay.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, God. Carrie said his computer died.
Oh, Carrie said his computer died?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, at the end of the day, man, it's just one of those things. Consult with God, like,
Yo, check this out. So one of my friends texted me about the video. She said, God sees the heart. A true woman of God wouldn't lift herself above other women. She would recognize that she's just another sinner saved by grace. God hasn't given you that man because your heart isn't right yet, or God has another purpose he wants to complete in you. It's not a competition.
That's crazy. That's really good, because maybe it hasn't come because you in your feelings like, I deserve this, I deserve that. Maybe God is trying to wait till you get that out of your heart before he sends you who you're really looking for.
So I heard this conversation a lot.
Be anxious for nothing, right?
Come on. All things through prayer and supplication. Make your request known.
Come on.
Listen. Come on. So this conversation became popular when Megan Good was with the Devon Franklin guy. I think Devon Franklin is a Seventh-day Adventist Christian guy. He chose Megan Good, who everybody saw as a Hollywood girl. And then around the same time, another Christian man chose somebody else who they deemed was in the world. And I saw a lot of, Christian women getting up in arms about not being chosen by Christian men, and it became a thing. And I think what I heard in a lot of those conversations was, well, what's the point of doing all this if you're not going to be chosen? And I was like, it's not you do it because God chose you, not because you want somebody to choose you.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason you do it.
That's the only reason in my head, right? You know what I'm saying? Who am I? I'm just me talking about what I'm talking about.
That's it.
Q,
on this podcast. That's it.
On this spot that maybe it can help, maybe it won't. Q said, this is so deep. I have these type of conversations all the time, but it's not your sin to justify God. God loves us, and we are to love one another. Let people be who they are. Let me ask you a question, Mike. Were you able to do any kind of ministering at that wedding that you went to?
I haven't gone yet. But so the person that's getting married is a believer and knows my standpoint, knows where I stand, knows my heterosexual stance, my religious stance, all of that other good stuff. You know what I mean? So
are they gonna try to turn you out when you get there?
No, sir. And Janae is definitely going with me.
So what? Okay,
brother, listen.
This is just theology.
Listen.
And debate about what's proper, what's improper, what is a stain on the Christian reputation, what's making the Christianity look bad. Like, this is just one of my mentors were talking, like, I think a lot of my friends, not a lot, but a few of my friends who are unbelievers don't find Christianity as something that a family they want to be a part of because there's so much infighting. Right. And I often tell them, like, that's not all of us. It's not like it's every here and there. And they're like, yeah, okay, but why is there so many denominations? I'm like, I don't have an answer to that. But what I'm saying is that overall, what you get out what you put into it. So don't be scared away by a few people who are trying to have debates about everything that you do. It's a really loving environment. Find an environment that God send you to. Like, just be open to it, right? Yeah, because the infighting could. That's why we don't show up to family reunions now for our blood family, because of infighting.
Woo. Yeah. Yeah.
It's so much. He said
he on his way to the airport.
Of course he is at Puerto Rico or something. All right. Well, that was a good one. I got another video for you, bro.
Let's do
it. Shoot. Where's All right, I already did marry the maid. I already did outspend his income.
He said, I'm gonna hire the maid and then I'll marry the maid. Her face was priceless. Like, oh.
Yeah.
You suggested it.
Let's roll it up. I got two videos. We probably won't have time to do both, but there you go. Let me ask you, one or two, bro. You want to hear about how to tell a woman no? Or do you want to hear about how men are supposed to cultivate women?
Oh, let's go with how to tell a woman no.
All right. The video starts very aggressive.
Women's bullshit is so open and on display. You can't not see it if you're looking for it. I tell men all the time, you have to test women. See if she's even this vindictive. Just the tiniest amount of vindictiveness early on tells you that vindictiveness will be multiplied by 1,000,000 down the road. Once the infatuation's over, a real relationship, and it goes south, you're going to see vindictiveness out of that person. Men look at women and figure out, is she attracted to me or not? And if she is and I'm attracted to her, that's all I need to know. And then down the road, they're writing me or booking with me saying, I don't know what happened. How does she handle money? What's her debt like? Yes. I want to know her credit score. I want to know how much debt she has. I want to know her spending habits, her interest. I want to know how she handles pressure. I want to know how she handles no. The problem is we've been discussing gynocentrism means there is no no.
Right.
So men have to actually rebel against all their life's programming to do one simple thing, to tell her no to something.
I'm looking it up now. Gynocentrism. Gynocentrism is a focus on women or feminine point of view, either in theory or practice. It can also refer to the idea that female thinking and behavior are normal, while male thinking and behavior are abnormal. For example, a psychological study that only uses female participants and applies the results to everyone would be gynocentric. Gynocentrism, dominated by or emphasizing feminine interests or feminine point of view. There is no telling women no. Carrie's stupid. She said, who's attracted to this guy? Who is attracted to this guy? Ain't no woman ever liked you. What you got, Mike? What you think?
I don't know. Here we go.
Where to start? Uh-oh.
Yeah, kinda.
It was some big pillars in there.
So the first part that he said about women's bullshit is just obvious. Out for this. Yeah, it's obvious, out for display. I feel like in order to say that, you will be having to group all women together, because of course, because what ended up happening when you think like that, D, is in my past relationship, my ex did XYZ. Now Janae is doing XYZ. That must mean they're doing the exact same thing for the exact same reasons. That's not always true.
That's good.
That's not necessarily always true. Janae could be doing this reason for something completely different that has totally separate, no malice behind it, no forethought behind it. It's just something that she does, not knowing that it triggers me. But that don't mean they're the same people, because so in order to say all women's bullshit is on, no, I don't agree with that. As far as the men thing, that's another one that stuck out. Men, is she attracted to me? Yes. Am I attracted to her? Yes. That's all we need to know. In my younger days, yes. But as a grown man, hell no. That is not all that's needed for me to just say I'm all in. No.
So when he said, I need to know how she handles pressure, you said something a few minutes ago about how, if in my past relationship, if she did this, and in my present relationship, she did this, they must be doing it for the same reason. I will say this, in our past relationships have a tendency to make us highlight certain behaviors in our next relationship.
Yes.
And so if I'm used to being with women who don't handle pressure well, then the standard by which I hold my next two when it comes to pressure may be unfair. Right. And because it's almost like I'm taxed. I cannot do another woman who can't handle pressure well, because I overextended myself in previous relationships. Instead of calling and saying, oh, this doesn't work for me. Now I'm exhausted when it comes to women who can't handle pressure in a decent way. She has to be excellent because my ex was horrible. That is what we're saying. And so I think that sometimes, just like men do with women and women do with men, you're making your present person pay for the debt of your ex. And I think that I immediately felt, this is my own self-check. I immediately felt it when he said, how do you handle pressure? And I see myself like, when I think about being in like a relationship again, like a committed relationship, moving into marriage and whatnot, my heart begins to hurt. And I want to step back out. But when I think about it seriously, something continues to rise up and I'm like, damn, all right, bro, just slow down for a second. Slow down. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like you want to get back and run full speed on the track, but it's a twinge somewhere. And I'm like, golly, okay, hold on. But I recognize that when he said that, I'm able to pick up a trigger and I'm just like, if I don't deal with this bias that I now have because of previous relationships, I'm going to bring an unfair standard into my next relationship.
Yeah, I did it in the relationship I'm in now for a long time. I didn't even realize that I was doing it because you know it when you don't heal from certain triggers, traumas, past bullshit, whatever the case may be, you can't do anything but bring it with you. You still carrying the baggage, whether you want to or not. If you ain't let that thing go and completely let that thing go, it's gonna come with you, and it may not rear its head initially, but like you said, on her bad days or on her days that she not feeling it, it may show up then. And that's why I love what he said about I need to know. I want to know her credit score. I want to know, you know, what that no looks like. Is there going to be any kind of vindictive behavior down the road? But what I don't agree with is the statement where he said you need to test your woman. That to me sounds like playing games. Sounds like playing games. Unless you're in a real life situation and now you can step back and study that situation for what it is. But if I'm making up a scenario to test my woman to try to figure out if she's going to be vindictive, to me that sounds like playing games.
Yeah, you could just ask a hypothetical question, but then it's like if I don't, but then it's like you're going to try to give me the right answer instead of the honest answer. But this goes back to what Carrie said. Carrie said that's exactly what I was wondering while watching that. Who hurt you, sweetie? Who hurt you? and I think that I'm gonna say this blanket statement, and we'll just see where it goes. I'm under the impression that every single human being is operating from some kind of hurt, one way or another. I'm under the impression, and what laid this impression on me was my boy's wife is a nurse, and she said that in the nursing, what the nurses are discussing in the field is that every human being was traumatized by the pandemic because it was global. It hit everybody, and she said, "I'm not sure how many people actually went to therapy about the pandemic and how it impacted their life. It traumatized everybody who was exposed to it." And they're seeing that from a medical standpoint. And I wonder how many people have now developed certain perspectives and mindsets and insecurities or worries because of the pandemic that they carry over into how they're going to identify who to partner with, what jobs to have, how to make financial decisions and stuff like that. And so when I say that everybody's operating from some kind of hurt, it just makes me think that it's healthy for all of us to continually check in with ourselves like we do on the show and say, where do I need to check myself? Where was I just triggered, and where did that trigger come from? You know what I'm saying? Because managing one of those areas, healing in one of those areas continues to make it a better, pleasant experience for you and the people that you're around, platonic or romantic. It makes you a better brother that you go to therapy.
Yeah.
It's for you, but it benefits me.
Yeah,
it's for you, but it benefits me. You've had certain conversations with me that you wouldn't have had unless you went to therapy. There are certain things that I've done to you that you probably wouldn't. We wouldn't be brothers no more had you not gone to therapy, and vice versa.
Yeah, that's facts. So it's funny that you say that because it makes me think on the other side of that when I hear people say, I don't operate from a place of being hurt before, because it's like, no, I go to therapy, I do this. But you go to therapy more than likely because you've been hurt. So even going to therapy is operating from a place of being hurt before, because I need to see how I can get through this hurt, what caused this hurt. So it all stems from, because I don't know, I'm not saying it's not true, but I don't know anybody that has started therapy already healed from everything. They got it all figured out. They don't. So you're here because something has happened that has caused some type of imbalance, hurt, pain, trauma, whatever case may be. So now I'm here. So even the people that feel like, no, I've gone to therapy for that, but you went to therapy from a place of hurt. You know what I'm saying?
It just makes me think that how do you, I'm not going to say it as a statement, I'm going to ask you the question, how do you know if you healed from something unless you get back in a situation to give you evidence based on your reaction to it? Like, how would you know? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just hope you are, and you get in a situation and you're like, oh, yeah, I like the way I responded to that. I can verify that some significant changes have happened. And some of those things won't happen until you're in a romantic relationship. Some of your father wounds won't show
1000%.
up until you're married. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Some of those. Yeah.
Yep. Because I prime example, I was going to therapy. I was like, okay, cool. I'm cured. Got it. Thank you. Got it. Got the tools. Boom. Let me get back out there. Nigga, 2 months later, right back in therapy. Like, thought I had it. Still need it. So it's yeah.
I'm gonna ask you this. We already talked about the purpose of marriage. What do you think the purpose of therapy is?
So, like I always tell people that ask me about therapy and ask me about if they think it's a good idea, what I always say is therapy is not the cure-all. The therapist is not the cure-all. I feel like what therapy allows you to do is peel back layers of yourself and ask yourself the hard questions and peel back these layers. The therapist the therapy, what it does is it helps you. It's like a tool to help you do the work that you could do on your own. But sometimes we don't know where to start. As humans, I didn't know where to start. I knew I was having these feelings. I knew I was having these emotions. I knew I was acting out in this way. I didn't know why. Let me go talk to a therapist. And talking to that therapist, really, he never really made any suggestions. Most of what he did was ask me questions. Questions that I've asked myself so many times, but for some reason, hearing another voice other than mine, and an unbiased voice, other than maybe a girlfriend or a family member, hearing that voice asking me these questions caused me to actually think about it. And then they give you, like, well, mine gives you homework, and now you got to do stuff on your own, and it just creates this. Really, what it is, it creates a hole. And I have a shovel. And so now I'm digging this hole. And eventually, though, with me digging this hole, I'll get to the root, because that's the point, to get to the root of the issue. And now I can cut that root out. I know what it is. I know I don't want to hear, so now I can cut that root out. So I feel like that's what therapy does for you. It's a tool. It's not that I'll go to therapy, I'll be cured. Because initially that's what I thought it was. Oh, I could just do this for a little bit and I'll be good. Okay. But that ain't what it is. I feel like therapy is like a lifelong thing. Me personally. Because it's so much that unpacks, dude. It's so much that therapy unpacks. It's wild.
I think that the purpose of therapy is self-examination and self-reconstruction. And I say it like that because I may reconstruct myself in a certain way in this season based on what my life experiences, and then later on I might have to self-construct again because I learned something new and I've evolved. You know what I'm saying to you? So that's why I feel like it's not a one-time fix. It's like it's a maintenance thing that helps you to
that's good
helps you to maintain a trajectory of upward and onward. You know what I'm saying to you? And so even if you don't feel like anything's wrong, it's still good to go to therapy because it allows you an opportunity to self-examine and self-reconstruct where necessary. We got a few people in the chat talking about this, so I wanted to see.
Yeah. Oh,
real quick though, Lakeisha, where'd you send it? You send it to Facebook or Instagram? She said, "Did you get the post I sent you about triggers?" Not sure. And I agree, Kiaria. Women want the same information from men, especially in current times. I think everybody's trying to eliminate as much risk as they can by asking the proper questions.
Yeah, man.
Q said therapy is healing if you're honest. If you're honest with yourself about yourself. I know people that need to go but won't because they take it to God. Okay, therapy is needed. I love therapy. Lakeisha said I haven't been in a minute because money. But if it was free, I'd go every day. It's fun learning about yourself. It is what you make it.
Sometimes it's fun.
Sheesh. Yeah, this is good. Ali even said, yes, therapy takes time. I had 5 different therapists throughout my post-divorce journey based on where I was with my healing goals, almost like a 5-step process. The final stage was with a man alone, learning how to trust God, not the man himself. Major breakthroughs, especially after role play scenarios. Those are big, man.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. Okay. Kiaria said anybody can go into the hardware store and buy tools. Knowing how to use them is a
Come on.
That message.
Come on.
Message.
Big facts.
Sheesh. Yeah, man. This is good, man. Yeah. Oh shoot, Mignon, what you doing in China? She says getting good. My signal is bad here in China.
She over there doing talent shows and all kind of stuff over there. I saw her Facebook post.
All right, Mignon.
Yeah.
Listen, live, man, live. That brings me to the final topic tonight. Me and my friend were talking about the difference between living and existing, and we said the difference was self-awareness. Life is an opportunity to live. Without conscious awareness of what you're doing, you're existing, you're not living, and you feel the difference. They feel very different. Reminding yourself that much of what you experience is what you create in your own head. Right. And so for you to get to the place as a believer to experience the life and life more abundant that Jesus came to give us, it does requiring you to not only go to therapy with a person and do self-examination and self-reconstruction, it requires transformation. The Bible says that God will transform you into a new creature by changing the way that you think. And if after you do your own take your own personal responsibility of self-examination and self-reconstruction, you take all that back to God and say, what was your initial intention for me? And I think that that's where he begins to enlighten us like only the divine creator can, and show us, saying the true meaning of all these different things. And then we start to understand that the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. And we're no longer afraid to be generous, because we know that whatever we're given belongs to God, and he's always going to give me what I need. So I'll never lack if I walk in generosity. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Like, you start to confess and believe these things a little deeper, because he's transforming the way that you think about yourself, about your enemy, about, like, you don't have time to get revenge. Like, that's not what you want anyway. You know what I'm saying? What you want is justice, and that's my responsibility. What I want you to do is continue to be the light, because if you're not a part of the solution, then you're the problem. Right. And so just continue to wake up every morning and declare that you're going to be the solution, not the complainer and not the problem, but part of the solution. So, yeah, man, that's it.
Keep you out of jail too.
Yes, because your brother ain't taking care of your family if you go to jail for the wrong reason.
I get it. All
right.
And you told me ahead of time, so I'm held accountable at this point.
It's not ahead of time, because it ain't gonna happen. There is no ahead of no time, because it ain't gonna come up.
That's a fact.
Bully mode. Ladies and gentlemen, if we
got real big brother real quick.
If we said anything tonight that caused you to maybe have to look a little deeper within you emotionally, we were just talking about some therapy things, and you want to try it out, here's a number you can call. Don't be alarmed by the suicide crisis hotline verbiage. This number 988, you can call and get connected with someone to get you they can get you connected to a suicide prevention group, of course, but you can get connected to a regular therapist or support group, a counselor, any of those things. This is a number you can call. We've had plenty of people from the show call. You can go online, put 988 in. You can chat with someone online live. They do follow-ups and all that kind of stuff. And I love to put this out there as well. If you know somebody who's going through something, take a moment, because your approach may not make it better. It may make it worse. So take a moment and connect with somebody and say, hey, my friend's going through, some depression. This is how I want to approach it. Is this the best way forward? Just to get some insight, call that number 988. They can give you some guidance on how to approach, how to have an intervention, how to help support somebody, because sometimes we're not doing it right. We're making things worse. So we like to give that at the end of every episode. 988 is the number to call. Ah, man. Anything else, bro?
Nah, I got nothing.
You praying us out? I'm praying us out.
I got it.
For sure.
Father, we thank you for another great show, Lord. We thank you for bringing us together tonight, for fellowship with each other, with our viewers, Lord. We thank you that somebody received something from our discussion tonight, Lord. We thank you that we just don't talk on Sundays, but we try to live out what it is we talk about throughout the week, Lord. We just thank you and praise you for this upcoming week, that you'll surround your angels to keep us safe, family members or friends, Lord. If anybody is dealing with anything, Lord, that you just minister to them, help them where they need help, Lord. Again, we thank you and praise you for all that you do and all that you're going to do, both seen and unseen. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Hey, man, you don't want to pray about getting Carrie out of the passenger seat? You want to? Not doing that? Okay. I thought maybe, all right, cool. Ladies and gentlemen, that's us for tonight. Until next week.
2 Chainz.